Welcome in, welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. And I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And folks, we know this would not be, it could not be, we cannot traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the Seahawks multiverse. That is Mr. Phil Leidick. Gentlemen, I'll pass it to you first there, Brandon. Gentlemen, what if this is it? What if this is the final hurrah for the season? I don't want it to be. I want more games. But is the 2023 season coming to an end? Brandon, say it ain't so.
No, I didn't even contemplate that. Why are you bringing this up? If we just ignore the fact that this could be the final what if show of the season, then it can't be, right? Then we'd have to come back and do another one just to react and say, oh, well, we didn't really finish. We didn't know it was going to be the last one.
Right. I'm with you. I'm great with the deaf, dumb, and nope, not dime, deaf, dumb, and blind. Is that PC? Can you say that nowadays? I don't know. The thing with the monkeys where they're covering their ears, their eyes, and all their holes. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to think of all the holes, especially this season. And what I want, Mr. Phil, is I want this train to keep a rocking. I love your themes. I love this show. I love hanging out with you, man. I don't want this to be our last hurrah. So what are we going to do about that, Mr. Phil?
I don't want to close my eyes.
I
don't want to fall asleep
because I'll miss Mr. Phil, and I don't want to miss him. That's true. It's very true. Off the rails.
Steven Schultz, all the Stevens.
All the Stevens. Yeah, Mrs. Tyler going down, Mr. Tyler. All right, Phil, what's up? Are we gonna have you next week? What do you think?
Well, hopefully the show isn't what if we were actually in the playoffs next week? We don't want to have to do that show. That doesn't sound like a fun theme, really. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like a fun theme at all. I want in the playoffs. Brandon, I will remind the listeners and watchers, the viewers there, that it was 4 weeks ago now that I said we're going to go 3-1 down the stretch, and that the Packers will lose to the Bears the last week of the season, and we're going to get in because the Bears beat the Packers and we take care. I didn't know we'd be down to our last game. I just said we'll go 3-1 in our last four. So yeah. Brandon, maybe I've got the Nostradamus cap. Maybe
it has been foretold.
It has been foretold. It has been for sure. Well, Mr. Phil, I know that you like to give us a segment we call Previously with the Protector, and that's a look back at the opponent that is coming right up. I think lots of our Seahawks fans probably watched a good amount of the game last week because it mattered, where Arizona was able to go into Philadelphia and get a really gritty win and put up a lot of points against these Eagles. So what did you see that you want to tell the flock about?
Well, unfortunately, the Cardinals looked like a pretty good football team. I mean, even though they were behind at halftime, they were out yarding them a lot. They had some kind of dumb turnover situation. Their defense still doesn't really impress me. And what I've read is that their run defense is putrid. Now, we know all about putrid run defense. We can spot it pretty well. If you take the last chunk of the season, obviously theirs isn't worse. There's a team that's worse. But overall, by DVOA, they have the worst run defense. Their pass defense is fairly meh. It's okay. I didn't see much for pass rush. Their run D didn't look quite as bad as I expected. And their pass D looked, again, okay-ish. Smith, if he dropped a massive bomb that would have really hurt the Cards, could have made a big difference. You might have saw that one. Hurts did well when he threw. He was finding some openings, and he hasn't been passing good in the second half of the season, but he did well. His only pick, he had the 3 touchdown passes. His only pick was on a Hail Mary. I feel like they really tried to lean into the run, and for whatever reason, the Cards kind of leaned back better than I think anybody expected. Their offense is 24th by DVOA. Now that's on the season. They're much better than that here recently. 29th with the pass. Obviously, that was back including the Dobbs era, which we know what kind of passer he was. Their 6th run offense in DVOA overall, but there's a lot of stats that actually have them number 1 here recently. They were really good on the run.
Oh boy.
They had some crafty play action rollouts, even to the left. You might have noticed Kyler's pretty good when he does play action and then does kind of a spin, rolls the other way. Connor, man, I've been not looking forward to playing him for a few weeks now. Number 6, he's tough, he's smart, he's crafty, he's got the skills. Murray, apparently I saw that I was watching the game. This came up, double checked. He's the best third down passer in the National Football League by passer rating, and so watch out for that. He did throw a really weird long pick. I think his receiver was on a different they were playing a different PlayStation game. They ran a different route there. He's a loaf of bread runner, though, and you caught this. They finally said it during the broadcast. When he's out in the open field running, there's going to be some chances to poke that ball away if you can get a hand in there. So keep an eye on that. That might make the difference. Wide receivers, they had a good day overall. None stand out or impress with Hollywood out and all. They just kind of have a lot of guys. Sweat missed a sure sack that resulted in that amazing Connor one-handed touchdown. I think Sweat was trying to be nice and not get some kind of roughing hit. He had his arm around Kyler, didn't pull him down, and that was a huge difference in the game. You guys have other thoughts when you watch this 35-31 score fest?
It just reminded me how bad our fumble luck was against the Steelers. There was the play on the sideline that where the receiver fumbled it and then swatted it while he was stepped out of bounds. And then thinking about the George Pickens fumble where that ball went out of bounds. I guess it makes me think that maybe we're due for some fumble luck then against these Cardinals.
Yeah. How about you, Clinton? What did you notice?
No, that'd be nice. I hope we do get the fumble luck on our side. I think we might need it.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm noticing is like you said, DVOA is looking at the entire year.
Yeah.
And if you do a couple of click downs, the things that the Cardinals have been good at since Murray got back, this just doesn't bode well. It just does not set up well for our team right now as the 32nd ranked since week 9 against the run. This team runs the ball well. This team's staying on the field with third down conversions, and they have a guy who can do that with his legs too, in Murray. The records don't matter. Their records on the season, it doesn't matter at all. Their overall DVOA doesn't matter. This is not a great matchup right now, is what it boils down to.
Well, in second half of the season, our record isn't better than theirs. So we're talking about second half of the season teams playing each other.
Yeah. So there's that as well. Well, let's get on with it, right? So let's take this forward and say, on paper, doesn't feel great. Doesn't look great yet. They are still the Arizona Cardinals. They don't have a great record overall. They lost a decent amount of close games, which teams that are not quite there yet certainly do. And they are not quite there yet. No doubt about that. But they are playing hard. They're playing hard for the rookie coach, and I expect them to continue to play hard. They're absolutely not going to give up on the season. And I thought it was interesting that Gannon this week came out and said that Murray is absolutely, they're not looking at quarterback in the offseason. Like, they have their QB1, they're going forward with him, and they're gonna build around him still. Thought that was interesting. Brandon, do you think there's any lies detected there? Do you think that he's telling the truth?
Things that all coaches would say going, in fact, maybe Bill Belichick going into the final week of the season.
Yeah, Bill Belichick would just say, this guy's not good enough. And that really build up that morale, right, on his way out the door. So, all right, well, Mr. Phil, you love to put your crafty themes together. I can't even guess as to what it might be this week. So, hit it, man. What
got
what
my finger on it. I'm ready to click it here. We're going to click the bird. We're going to go to the theme. A few weeks ago, we did what if we stopped the repeat, some of the repeat flaws and the losses and the defense, but I couldn't quite avoid getting to a Déjá Vu theme. For one, Clinton's been predicting what if we have Déjá Vu all over again, where things end in Lambeau and we find our way back in. And so because there's just so many parallels, same record, same situation, we need to win. We need the Packers to lose at home. So I thought, what if it is Déjá Vu? What if it's Déjá Vu this season? And so we have some Déjá Vu oriented topics, of course. Brandon will get to go first since it is a odd numbered game. It's our 17th game. So we're going to bring this one back, repeat. We also have glitch. We have do over, Lambeau, before, and then we have birds. And no, I don't do double birds, but there's lots of birds. There's lots of birds. This is our second time doing the birds, and we've been doing a lot of bird games this particular season. But Brandon, where would you like to go first?
I'm leaning to the bees, and I will start with before.
Before. Here we go. Brandon. What if while we watch, we begin thinking, I've seen this movie before? Bad run D, not a lot of great run blocking. The passing offense is trying to win this game by themselves, things like that. How will it impact your offseason outlook if this game seems to be a groundhog scenario?
Well, part of it depends on how it ends.
Yeah, okay.
that's gonna play into it, because shoot, if the passing offense ends up winning this game, and I'll be just fine with that. But yeah, the bad run defense, that's not going to make much difference, because we've seen it, we know it, and I would say that we all expect it at this point in this game, especially against a good running back like James Conner. Bad run blocking, that's an interesting one, because if we see bad run blocking against a bad running defense, that's going to really be concerning. And I do think that, just based off of history, we'll probably see more passing than we necessarily want to see. K9, who knows how healthy he is? Will we see a little bit more Zach Charbonnet? I would hope so. If K9 needs a little bit of
sound really good on last night's yesterday afternoon's press conference about K9 looking good.
Yeah.
So
well, that would be helpful in this game. But I think we're probably going to see them trying to win it with DK Tyler and JSN, and how it impacts the offseason. I think they know they're going to have to make changes already. Yeah. And it would just kind of fit in, I think, with what we've seen so far this season.
All right, Clinton. Brandon's numb. He's like, whatever. I've seen this movie.
I've seen this movie so many times. I know what's going to happen next.
Yes. There's a great Not a Surf song, and Not Popular, which is their most popular song, unironically. But there's an awesome Not a Surf song called Outside of Love. And the lyric is, I know the last page so well. I got to look this up later. I know the last page so well. It's something like I don't even start. Like I'm botching it a bit, but it's like, I know the ending, therefore I'm not even going to begin, because in the song it's kind of like, oh, it ends in pain, and he's on the outside of love, right? I think it's actually.
I know the last page so well, I can't read the first.
There you go. That's it. I know the last page so well, I can't read the first, and that's what this feels like. We want to shut our eyes, right? We said it earlier with the three monkeys. For me, to answer the question, it's going to be about our priorities in terms of we are the antithesis of what we want to be, and you can't choose all sides of the ball, because we don't have a second rounder. I mean, you can, but you're going to have to figure out what you're doing here. I am fully cemented in we do not need to draft Michael Penix in the first round. It just. No, I think he's great. Go win the chip, buddy. I love it. Let's go. Love UW. I'm cheering for y'all.
He's going to win the chip, and he's going to get drafted in the top 10 anyway. It won't even matter. It won't be there when we have to pick.
We don't, and also we don't need a quarterback. We don't need one. What do we need? Well, let's see what's up with Abe Lucas's knee. I'm not convinced we have a starting right guard yet with Bradford. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. What are we going to do with Olatimi? And then we got Damian Lewis as a free agent. So it's just like that calibration. If we cannot run block again, it's just, man, we really, really need to prioritize offensive line. So at least offensively, we could run the ball and be what we want to be on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah. The defensive side of the ball, you don't have to build trenches through draft picks. You don't have to.
Yeah, that's right.
There are the big run stuffing DTs out there that you can go grab free agency, right, and then afterwards, which we just didn't do this year. We actually got smaller. So it's going to be prioritization. But can we just please run the friggin' ball? Can we have some Pete Carroll football and win this game by jellying it down their throats for once, please?
That's what I was hoping. And then I did for my previously, I watched the Eagles try to run, and it wasn't the domination that I was expecting with the run game made me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, the only good news is right now the Eagles are a pretty broken offense, and we're not. We're not a broken offense. We're not firing on all cylinders, but we're not broken. The Eagles are fairly jumbled right now.
All right. Well, we're still hoping for Déjá Vu from last season. Clinton, where are we going to go next?
Well, if we want Déjá Vu, then we need them Bears to perform in Lambeau. Let's go to the frozen tundra.
Let's see. I got to go to Lambeau. I got excited and clicked ahead. My finger just couldn't wait for something. I'm not sure what happened there. But here we go, Clinton. What if we get Déjá Vu in Lambeau? Will you believe anything is possible? Or will Santa Clara, which is the sure place we would go after winning one game, will that loom so darkly that it's hard to be thrilled? Are you going to easily be thrilled? Or are you going to be concerned about the fact that at best we're going to win one game?
Who is the most famous Packer of all time? NFL history.
Bart
Lambeau?
Starr. Oh,
most important Packer for the entire NFL.
Lombardi,
right?
Is that why they named the trophy after that guy?
maybe so, right? Here's the deal. Can you win the Lombardi if you don't make the playoffs? Brandon, is it possible?
It is, in fact, not possible.
You can't, right? You can't. Can anything happen in 2-3 weeks with injuries and things of that nature and any given Sunday? Can anything happen in football that tilts the field one way or the other? The scales of justice from the refs, fumble luck, a freak injury in the first quarter. Are those things possible in a violent football game, Mr. Phil?
A fully rested, 2 weeks off, 40 Weiner team in Santa Clara is what we're talking about right now. But
yes,
yeah,
right.
I mean, if they had, they only have like 6 or 7 players that would need injured for me to feel really good.
Right. Hey, 2 weeks is a long time for weird stuff to happen. That a lot of things can happen. So my answer is no. I will continue to believe anything is possible. The only thing that's not possible is if we don't make the playoffs, we cannot win the Lombardi. If we make the playoffs, heck, anything is possible. You could win. We could win game one, whether that's Detroit, Philly, Dallas, however that shakes. And then we could go to Santa Clara and we could beat the Niners. It ain't likely, but is it possible? You're darn tootin' it is, Mr. Phil.
Go ahead, Brandon. Then I want to drill down with just one other follow-up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm always the optimist and always looking forward to playoffs. I want the opportunity for revenge, and that opportunity is there. You get the win from the Packers, or by the Packers losing. That's what I meant to say. Yep. And so the Bears win. You end up facing either the Lions, the Cowboys, or the Eagles. 2 of those teams we beat, won a winnable game. So yeah, a rematch in Santa Clara is possible. And who knows, maybe Trent Williams, he slips getting out of the hot tub and he can't go for the game against the Seahawks. And he's the MVP of the team.
Yeah.
And it ends up showing in that rematch.
Yeah, I could see that. My other question in connection, because I too want to go to the playoffs. Of course, I want to take a shot at it. Why not? And I really think we could win one. But I'd like to, I just would hate ending the season with a loss to the Winers. That's the hard part for me.
We've lived that movie before.
Yeah, we did it with the Lambs? Yeah, it's just not the movie that I want to see. Here's the other question I have. Let's say it goes the wrong way and the Packers are winning pretty decidedly. Do you still want a winning season, even though that might cost us 5 or 6 draft picks, Brandon? How do you feel about that? Would you rather lose so you can get a better not draft picks, slots in the first round, third round? Would you rather lose and have a losing season but get a higher first round pick?
I would still rather have the win because it goes perfectly with my mantra that winning is better than losing. And the draft position, it doesn't really matter once you get to this point. I think guys get drafted all over the board, and I know there's benefit in saying, oh, well, we get to pick before these guys, or maybe you get to trade down and pick where you were before. Draft position, I care very little about it.
I don't disagree. I disagree that the draft position doesn't matter. I can't quite agree with that part of it. But ending the season on a win and having a winning season is still a big deal to me. That's the final taste in the mouth a little bit. How about you, Clinton?
I'm on take the L. It doesn't matter to me at that point.
Okay.
I'm in favor. It'd be for me. If we look up and it's 21-3 Packers third quarter. I'm not saying we shut it down. You play, and because the Bears could still come back because they could. But no, man, like I'll give me the better draft picks, and also at that point, if we're 8-9 and we lost down the stretch to some two questionable teams, the change that might be warranted at that point maybe becomes a bit more likely with the loss too.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't expect that, but interesting thoughts. I think there's wise opinions all around on that particular scenario. Now we go to Brandon.
Yes, well, the other B option is still there. Let's go Birds.
Okay, for the Birds. There's a lot of birds in the NFL. We're getting a repeat. We're getting deja vu of playing the Cards, though a quite different Cards this time. And so let's consider that. What if we discuss personnel differences in this fine feathered rematch? Brandon, how will the healthy Murray and Connor make things different than that 20-10 victory we had so long ago?
Yeah, I think about going back to that game too. One other difference is the Seahawks had a healthy Nwosu. And that is a guy who I think would play a big part in this rematch if he were healthy too. And Kyler Murray, it's a big deal being able to also have a healthy Kyler Murray mobile quarterback against a defense that struggled against the run. They were able to shut down the Eagles running game and Jalen Hurts. I mean, I know Clinton said that it's a broken offense, but Jalen Hurts, a quarterback who's able to run the ball, he did run the ball against this defense.
Yeah.
And so I think they have that potential. It'll come down to turnovers. It'll come down to red zone percentage, and it's going to end up being a close game. It always is. The Cardinals play a lot of close games. I noticed that even though they have not been favored at home the entire season, they're actually 7-0 against the spread, which is pretty wild to think about, that they've made all those games at least close or ultimately won despite not being favored at home this year.
And Clinton, which of these birds concerns you most, or what do we have to worry about the addition of Murray and Connor in this?
For me, I think I kind of always expected Connor back. Murray was like, will he get back? Will he even play this year? What does the organization think of him, et cetera, et cetera. And he came back. He's playing pretty good football. What I also saw against the Eagles, besides them running the ball well, the Cardinals running the ball well, was that Murray was also taking whatever they gave him. And I don't mean just by his feet. There was a lot of the stuff that we would sit there as Seahawks fans and be like, soft zone. Like, what are we doing? Not manning up. And this is it's a depleted, or it's a different, might be a more kind way to say it, a different wide receiving core. So with dudes like Murray, if you give him the option to dump the ball to Dortch on golf, Greg Dortch, if he gets that ball 6, 7, 8 times, because he could just turn around and sit in front of Bobby or sit in front of Devin Bush, who didn't quite know in some instances last week what he was supposed to be doing with Jordan Brooks out of there, that's going to be ugly, because that's going to be the third down stuff. It's like, we cannot get off the field, and it's a first down gain of 7 yards to Greg Dortch as he turns around, he's wide open. It's that combination. It's Murray being savvy enough, and the way we played defense reminded me of the Eagles last week. And I was like, man, they're moving at will against this Eagles team. And I don't think it's going to be too dissimilar. And that'll be
the Eagles don't tackle, we don't tackle.
Yeah, that's true. Both teams are not, and I hate to be such a downer, but it just is what it is. Like, I can't sit here and be a Pollyanna about the way we're tackling, about the way we're playing run defense, or our ability to cover shifty guys over the middle with a slow / inexperienced linebacking core. Bobby's, of course, tons of experience, and Bush, just looks a little out of it, a little out of position. And
Brooks
I can't
is
blame
coming
him.
back, though.
Is he going to play? Okay, well, that would be phenomenally huge if he could play at a high level.
Because you're right. I mean, that's a right on point there. He uses McBride as tight end. He's always looking to use Connor. He just takes the guy open. That's a well noticed point when I think about watching that game. That Murray wasn't trying to force it. He knows he doesn't have star catchers of the ball, but he gets it to somebody like Moore, and he can be shifty. I mean, he's just got guys. He's got guys. But did you have anything to add about Connor that concerns you at all, Brandon, before we keep moving?
Just that he's really good. We've seen these matchups these last few weeks, and it's he's the same kind of guy as Najee Harris, who's, you go back to the Titans game, and you've just faced these bruising running backs who will run you over. And for 3 straight weeks, I have no confidence that then they're going to just suddenly learn how to tackle these bruising running backs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm feeling you. I feel everything you just said there. Clinton, we got repeat, glitch, and do-over.
Okay, I have called Canine the human glitch a couple times this season. I think Canine's a great nickname already, but glitch is kind of cool. So I'm going to go glitch.
Okay. You think about Déjá Vus, could be glitches in the Matrix.
The Matrix,
Clinton,
love it.
What if there's a glitch in our consistency? And this is where we're going to do a true what if here. If there's a glitch in our consistency you could magically solve, what's the one thing we're sporadically good at that you'd make us become consistently good at? Clinton.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's quite a number. So there'll be plenty of meat on the bone for Brandon. So we're sporadically good at this. I mean, it's hard for me to get away from defense, guys. It is.
If you say we're sporadically good at run defense, then I'm gonna say you're going back to Pollyanna.
Yeah, we're not. We're not sporadic. It's how about we are sporadically okay. We've been sporadically decent at tackling. You know, there's been games where we've tackled proficiently like a pro football team, and you might want to put the effort aspect into there. Adam and Brandon, you guys had a great segment on the flagship show talking about Tariq, and like never have I ever watched Bobby try to take on 3 dudes. I say a lot of stuff about Bobby, about like him being a little slower and not quite, certainly not, his lateral movement's gone. I'm not ever questioning Bobby Wagner's effort and his try hard to stop dudes in the run game. He's there every single time trying. Can't say the same about Tariq Woolen. Like his effort, his willingness to engage in contact. So let me not even say tackling. Let me say the sporadic effort of being willing to bring the hats and just make that consistently good. That changes the game right then and there. We lost the Dallas game. We lost it. That's fine. We were the aggressor for most of that game. We were the bigger hitters most of that game. And it's why we were even in the game to begin with, in my opinion. So sporadic effort, and just turn that up to say like, no, we're bringing our hats every single play. Every inch matters in the field. Change that first. And that'll just have good consequences.
Brandon, what have we seen little glitches of goodness, some sporadic goodness here, but you'd love to just wave your wand and make us consistent at that?
Yeah, for me, it's, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, I think it's going to be really important against this Cardinals defense that has been generally bad. It's going to come down to red zone scoring. And if the Seahawks get inside the red zone, can they avoid those so tempting fade passes to the corner of the end zone and actually run plays? Hopefully even run the football inside the red zone, something that I can't really say that we're sporadically good at, because I feel like it's been so inconsistent that they actually even do it.
Yeah.
But can they score inside the red zone, get some touchdowns, and then that is going to, I think it's just going to be a back and forth game. So if the defense can get a stop or two inside the red zone against the Cardinals, then if we're scoring touchdowns, that's going to be the difference.
I like it. If this game's a collection of code, if we could just hit delete on the fades. I guess we had the amazing Bobo play, and like DK had one, and so Gino just got addicted to it. I'm not really sure.
I feel like Shane Waldron maybe, or maybe Pete just loves to have that one in the playbook. I don't know.
Yeah, and the Bobo play, that wasn't a fade, right? Like that, his touchdown toe tap, it was center of the field. It wasn't some pylon to the left-hand side there. So yeah, but I love the answer, by the way, Brandon. That is watching Najee Harris score from 9 yards out and 4 yards out, and then us just not running the ball within the 5 or 10, night and day difference. It's a great call out. Great call out.
Brandon, you want to have a do-over or Pete and repeat walking down the street again?
Let's go to repeat.
Okay. Someone in the Discord called me out and said this is a great dad joke. Pete and repeat walking down the street. Pete fell down. Who's left? My dad just wore me out on it to where I can't even appreciate it anymore. But Brandon, what if Coach Pete can end this repetitive run defense slide? How can he stop this broken record? You ever the record is going round and round? Is there something that he can do? Is there a trick he can pull on this final game of the regular season to stop the run defense slide?
One of the things I'd like to see this week, apart from Jordan Brooks coming back and being healthy, I think this is a game where you go ahead and you pull Reek Woolen from the lineup and you put Mike Jackson out there. And I know that sounds weird as having a corner, like swapping out a corner, and that's going to magically swap out or maybe try and fix your run defense. But I think with Witherspoon being back, with making that type of move, I think it sends a message. And after what we've seen the last couple games from Reek, it worked a couple weeks back, throwing out Mike Jackson with
maybe for a half.
And I'll take anything. I will take anything for a short period of time. It's just that I don't feel like I necessarily have to worry about getting beat by Michael Wilson, Rondale Moore, or Trey McBride. They're going to get their dink and dunk opportunities, but Pete doesn't have to worry about explosives, quote unquote, like he did with George Pickens last week. I think that really he's going to emphasize stopping the run because that is what can beat the Seahawks this week.
I like that idea. And can Reek do one of two things in the offseason? Can he either get the TA back on his name, or B, can he go to Sherman's cornerback sets the edge tackling school somehow? I mean, and just work out with Sherman. How does Sherman get, because he was a scrawny dude, he got stronger somehow. Just some of those things. I don't know but I
don't know how bad Reek's shoulder is, if that's really what the symptom is, if that's bothering him so much that he's trying to avoid those. So if even just having a healthy offseason is something that can, and maybe that's given him the opportunity, take the week off. He came back in and I felt like he was solid. But did he aggravate it? And if that's what's happened toward the regression, then it would lead me then to want to shelve him for this week and say, hey, if we do get that opportunity at the playoffs, then hey, you're back in first round, but we're going to go with Mike Jack this week.
All right, Clinton. Brandon's fixing the whole run D by swapping out a corner. What plan do you have?
I like that. This could add right up. I'm totally into the idea of benching dudes who are not showing effort. Totally into it. So I like that in general, Brandon. So the answer I'm going to give is probably not going to shock anybody.
Miles Adams.
This is where I'm going. I'm going to Miles Adams, right? No, here's the deal. I go back and look. Miles Adams had 5 snaps last week. 5 snaps. Okay. So it's like, and then you go look at his season. The dude has 5 snaps since week 9. They were all last week. He hasn't played a snap in this entire tumult when the wheels came off of our run defense. And I realized, Nwosu was a huge part of that, going out a bit earlier than that. His games leading up to it were our best defensive performances of the year. And and you could say, it was against the Giants or against Carolina, whatever. It doesn't really matter in the sense that he was out there. He did good things when he was out there, and his percentage of snaps was growing. He had his highest percentage of snaps versus the Giants, and then they took him off the field. He was gone. 9 weeks, he's had 5 snaps. My point being is, at what point is it like, well, we might as well put Miles Adams back in? Like, it can't be worse. I mean, correct? I know things could always, theoretically get worse.
I think you're right, actually.
Could it get worse? Could it get? We're 32nd in the league, so that can't get worse. It's not a 33rd team. We're not talking about the USL, the USFL, whatever combination they just put together. We're not talking about that. Put the dude in who has been good and we know has a motor, does not give up. He might be quote unquote undersized. I don't care. Give Miles Adams a chance to make this thing better. 5 snaps in 9 weeks. It's an absolute disgrace. Clint Hurt, do better.
How did how did the Steelers run in those plays where Miles was in the game? Do you know?
I did not go do the homework on that. My guess is 5 tackles for a loss is probably
the case that I could make for Miles, though, just because he is a smaller guy, a little bit quicker guy, in a game where you don't know if he's going to be stopping the run up the middle or trying to chase down Kyler Murray, who's escaped out of the pocket. Having that kind of flexibility on the interior could be helpful.
Yeah. He's a good football player. Every time he's in, he does good things.
We fixed the run defense by swapping out a cornerback and shifting to a third string defensive tackle.
We give it an opportunity to be better, right? It's like that's what we're trying to do here.
Personnel fixes.
Improve.
Send in the email to Pete. And I've tried to fix it by putting as many green lines as I possibly can on this broken record here.
I'll take do-over then, Mr. Phil.
Looks like you're going to get a do-over. Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of coordinators, Clinton, what if this is Waldron and Hurts' final do-over? What must they prove in this matchup? Is there anything these men can prove to you in this matchup, Clinton?
Yes. Okay. Yes, there is. My biggest, I'll stick with Waldron for the most of this, and maybe that's it. My biggest challenge with Waldron, and Brandon, we've talked about this a bit, is that I think he lacks feel. I don't think he understands when to deploy certain things, or when he has a hot hand, how do you amplify that hot hand, stick with that hot hand, you've exposed something that's working. How do you dig into that? That doesn't matter who it is. Often for me, I'm sitting there going, get K9 more touches, but it's kind of player irrelevant, like regardless of the player.
If anything, he does the opposite, Clinton. It's like, DK's not doing well. Let's try to force him the ball. And the next game, DK does well, and we forget about him. Or Tyler does well, we forget about him. Or K9 runs good, we leave him out the next drive. If anything, it's the opposite thing.
I agree. And I think that's the feel. No, that's exactly it. And Brandon and Adam, you guys started talking about, it was funny, I was texting you guys about DK's numbers before I heard the flagship show. I didn't know you guys were talking about DK. And then I was like, oh crap, they're saying they're looking at DK's season also being like, oh, he's having a really efficient year, like 65 receptions. That's not that huge, but his touchdowns are there. He's over 1,100 yards. Like, it's like, man, if he got alpha numbers and alpha targets, he'd be a 1,400-yard receiver guy. So when you have a game where DK's off to the fast start or K9's off to the fast start, look, the last few games, Rams throw the ball to like 4 people. Pittsburgh Steelers, 5 dudes touched the ball. That was it. 5 guys touched the ball offensively besides Rudolph. We tend to be like, nope, we got to get our spread in. We got to spread the ball around. How about we just see Waldron be like, oh, DK's working today? Okay, DK's going to get 15 targets today. That would be different. I'd be very, very down for that, to see the glimmer of this guy understands early in the first quarter, if we actually have plays in the first quarter, in the first half, this guy is the guy today. Let's ride with him. I don't see that from Waldron. I think that's all feel. I'm not going to go into to Hurt. Hurt, it may be a lost cause, but Waldron, that's what I want to see.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I'm kind of with Clinton. I don't know if there's anything I could see on defense that would lead me to say, oh, well, they fixed it. They fixed it in the final game. Everything will be fine from here going on for perpetuity with Clint Hurt. So I guess that's the bad news, I feel like, with Clint Hurt. And with Shane Waldron, apart from what Clinton touched on, I go back to just running the football on first down. I want to see less of the pass, punt series, because I feel like those it's weird because you go back a few years and with Russ, it was run, pass, punt. Mm-hmm. And it's a different quarterback. It's a different offense. I don't think that, and part of the run, pass, punt stuff with Russ, it was because third down, then you were in third and long, you take a sack. And oftentimes that was also part of the role. It was more like run, sack, punt. And I think that Geno is slightly better when it comes to those 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6 opportunities, but we don't see it a whole lot because we're usually in the pass or pass run for 1 or 2 yards and then a 3rd and 8. And so I want to see more of those, giving it to K9, giving it to Charbonnet, 1st and 2nd down, and moving the ball efficiently down the field.
I mean, I'd kind of like concerned with Waldron's ability to design run plays. I don't know if we've talked about that much, but I don't know that I love his run play designs a lot. This sounds funny, but I kind of would like to see what Shoddy could do with this offense. I'm kind of interested to see, but that's just coming from over here. I don't know. You guys aren't down with the Shoddy play action with Geno, his run designs and all?
That could be great. I in general, I don't know if it's play design sometimes,
Okay.
but I do think sometimes we're asking a lot of our guards, who, which maybe looks better on paper than it looks when it's being executed, is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't totally explored that, but a lot of times I'm thinking these runs are not imaginative, and it could just be that our interior linemen are getting their tiny.
Might be.
There is a lot of that, I feel like.
Yeah, and that makes it tough for OC. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't try to deal with Hurts, though I was interested, but I don't know how you could explore every nook and cranny of that. Let's move from here to our From the Flock wishing well. A lot of times I've got to really get out the long ladder to climb down in the wishing well and try to pull out the few little wishes. This time I had a different problem, Clinton. I couldn't carry all the wishes out with one trip. There was a lot of wishes down here in our wishing well.
Good job, Flock. Good job.
Yeah. So the Flock really got with it on our final game. In fact, there's so many, it makes the font tiny where I'm going to have struggles reading these, but we'll go. You guys stop me or raise your hand if you want to say something about one of them. There's so many to deal with. Car. One more game to get it. I got half my wish last week. Spoon played. So here's hoping the other half finally gets granted. K9 gets his 100+ yards on the ground. I like that. I think there's a great chance of it happening. Sounds like he looks great in practice. Clinton, wish it's Déjá Vu all over again. Part of the inspiration for our episode here. For our Week 18 Seahawks and getting help versus the Packers, he has the pick there of the Bears.
Bears, let's go.
Frost, we win, and we get another game. Go Bears. Delwyn, we pull the rug out from under the league and surprise them by using the middle of the field a whole lot more. Also, the Bears get to feast upon a packed lunch. Gambling Goat, a.k.a. Tanky, trying to read this. In this regular season, with a win, spectacular fashion, it's a win-win. We beat the Cardinals and get the taste of Steeler catfish out of our mouths. Designed Pete's Beach House. Win by showing we actually have the moxie we need to fix this team in the offseason. Josh DeHuman, K9 beats Sean Alexander's single-game rushing record of 266 yards in a game and rushes for 275, and beats Marshawn Lynch's single-game rushing touchdown record of 4 touchdowns and rushes for 5 of them.
Nice.
Oye, como va? Spoon and Leo Williams have career days. They can't lose if that happens.
I like that one.
Any you wanted to mention?
I really like the K9 one too. That one's fun.
Too. Yeah. Just Josh gets the, if we're now ranking wishes, Josh wish the biggest, right? So I can appreciate the that he threw not just a penny, but maybe even like a silver dollar down the well there with that one. I love it.
That
does feel like a silver dollar wish for sure.
That was really a Matt Hasselbeck rookie card wish thrown in there.
Love it. Fun
okay.
Stuff.
Brandon's wishes first. His What If Superhawk for the final regular season week. I'm looking forward to who it is during our first playoff game next week, but let's deal with this game first.
Ooh, my What If Superhawk for this week. You know what? I'm going to pile on with the Kenneth Walker one because now I don't think I'm going to go straight beat Sean Alexander's record with Kenneth Walker, but he does need just one touchdown to tie his career high. So back-to-back seasons, K9 rushing touchdowns of 9, and so match last year. And then let's go 80 plus yards on the ground, over 100 total between ground and receiving. So big day for K9.
Big day for K9, 100 plus total yards. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't against this team, unless Shane and our blockers have something to do with it. But I love that wish. Clinton, what's your wish for this matchup?
Yeah, I would have gone with K9, but the last two things we talked about were K9. So I'll let that be and say, I hope that comes true also. I would add that at the touchdown that he's going to get for Brandon, can that be within the 5-yard line? Can we get that tough as nails? Like we actually hand the ball off at the 5 or the 4 and we're carrying a team into the freaking promised land there.
Different.
That'd be cool. So I want that. A lot. With that, the other thing I really want also would be, this is a bit of a wish from the heart, which I guess most of them are. I would really want to win, lose, or draw. I'd like to clamp down the Gino ain't the guy talk as we head into the offseason. Hopefully we win and we're not heading into the offseason yet. So what could do that?
Yeah.
Well, how about a Gino 325 2-touchdown day? Yeah. So high yards, at least 2 touchdowns through the air day, and just I'll say it, just shut the crowd up that I don't believe actually watches the games with
when
any intent.
He can do that and they still will blame Gino. If we let them run for 300 yards, it's going to be Gino's fault somehow.
Yeah, that's it. Gino's on the field for 21 minutes, puts up all the numbers he puts up. And it's like, rah, 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 Gino, fumble the ball. It's like, dude, he's on the field for 21 minutes. What? That's it. It's just,
I have a scenario that'll work. I don't know if you're going to like the answer.
Well, let's see.
Okay. We develop a DeLorean. We go back in time.
I love this answer.
Geno Smith gets drafted in the top 10, takes the Jets to a Super Bowl within his rookie season. He disappears for 6 years. His contract is ruled ineligible, and then he returns out of nowhere. The Seahawks pick him up, and then people are on board. They're like, "Oh, we got our Super Bowl quarterback that was a top 10 pick. Here we go, Geno."
Yeah. He somehow had the Tom Hanks. He was lost with a volleyball for a couple of years and then came back. I like everything about that except for I can never ask for the Jets to win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, Brandon. So I'm out.
I have no idea what it would take, except for maybe he takes his green dot helmet and goes in there and replaces Bobby Wagner, and we shut down the run, and he plays both sides of the ball. I haven't seen a quarterback play better. I haven't seen Mahomes play as good as Geno did last week. I don't. And then people were mad at Geno for the terrible run defense. I have no idea. I have no idea what it would take.
I've got one. I've got one that could do it, right? Because of what it means. So there's a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 play where Pete wants to punt the ball from like the opponent's, from the Arizona 48, and Geno waves him off and runs.
That's not working, coach.
Just runs a play, gets a first down. We score.
He's out of timeouts, so he can't even stop the play.
Like if Geno could do that, it would really throw the whole Hawk row. Everything would be in a blender there. It's like, wait a second, the dude I think stinks did a thing against a coach that I think stinks, and was more aggressive when he would have punted. That actual action with a win might tilt a few more people over to, oh yeah, Geno actually is really good at football, because he is really good at football.
2 weeks from Sunday, we're in Santa Clara in the 4th quarter. Ooh. And he evades a sack and throws a game-winning touchdown. Maybe that would bring a few people on board with the Geno train.
We get a few people on board with that, I think.
If he threw a touchdown on every single drive throughout the whole game, and then they would be
against the Niners.
Yeah.
They might. Finally.
I think my time machine answer was more realistic, but that's okay.
Yeah, probably. Okay, Brandon now has 10. Adam subbed in and still helped continue to further push Brandon's win total. Clinton was begging that we could carry this into the postseason. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, Brandon.
It's fair.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Because I have a gift, and I'll show everybody. This is for the winner. I'll show everybody when we go to big screen here in just a second after we predict our. I was about to send it to Brandon, and then Clinton said, "How about we let this carry on into the postseason?" And so, last week by 1 point, Adam helped Brandon get another win. He's now up 10-6. What's your score prediction this week, Brandon?
I am going to go with a high-scoring game, a very close game, because that's what the Cardinals do. I mentioned it before. They do keep it within the spread. I say the Seahawks win 32-30.
32-30 Seattle. That'll be a fun one. How about you, Clinton?
I don't know why I'm thinking it's lower scoring. I shouldn't think it's lower scoring. There's no reason to think it's lower scoring, yet 24-23 Seahawks somehow, some way, and we pair that with Mr. Fields going off in Lambeau, and we're dancing.
24-20. Those are reasonable scores. I'm hoping something like that happens.
24-20 or 24-23?
24-23, 1 point victory.
1 point.
24-23. He $1'd you.
He $1'd me. I wondered which way he'd $1 me, but he went lower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
That's always always an indication of thoughts. Okay, let's go to the big screen. I'll show you guys we'll get rid of the. Can you do that, Brandon? Can you get rid of the predicting the score there, Clinton?
I can even do it. Yep, there you go.
There we go.
Done.
Here is what I.
Awesome!
It's a Seahawkers what if. What if I win?
Yes.
See, now I would have now that I know there's a prize, I would have changed my picks throughout the year. This is great. I love it, Mr. Phil.
It wasn't just when it was just for pride, you were okay with being the loser. But now that it's actually for prize, you want to win.
Now I really want to win. This is going to be great. Even if you do win it, which you likely will, I'm going to be happy to see you with that amazing beanie on there, Phil. That's a great job by you. I'm sad that it would be Brandon's probably, but still, it's a great job by you.
I'll wear it all next season to rub it in.
I know.
Put it on during the score prediction each time. Yeah.
Oh, like the Swami.
Yeah,
exactly,
right?
like the Swami. Oh man!
Ask your grandparents, kids.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't know the Swami, yeah, and we can talk about the Raiders, right? So, well, look, boys. I hope this is not I hope it's not our grand finale. Whether it's Hurts, or Waldron's, or Pete's, I hope it's not our season finale. I truly hope and want us to make the playoffs because anything can happen in the playoffs, and I'm here for it. And I believe, come the end of Sunday evening, we're going to be sitting there going, "Holy, you know what? We are in the playoffs, and we have a game to go to, another what if to go do." Mr. Phil, I feel it. I feel it.
And you know what'll happen if we lose? It's Pete and Gino's fault completely. If we win, it's because of Spoon or K9 or that Gino and Pete had nothing to do with it. That's what I already know ahead of time.
Gino 350, 4 touchdowns, and the glory poured upon him as it should be.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say, gentlemen. So what if we say, "Go Hawks"?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Déjá Vu all over again. Hawks.
Go Bears.